The Earth, viewed from space, is an iconic image. Since the NASA missions of the late 60s and 70s, the views looking back at our planet have inspired people to think about the way we live. Its power is simply in the perspective. Perhaps viewing the planet from the outside allows us to see things as they really are. One place to live, one set of resources, finite room, nothing being added, nothing taken away. Let's unpack the story of people who have led this narrative and challenged our perspectives on sustainability. This is ASU. In 1962, Rachel Carson published Silent Spring to bring public attention to the issue of synthetic pesticides and their impacts on humans and the environment, challenging chemical companies with accusations of spreading disinformation and accusing public officials of unquestioningly accepting the company's marketing claims. As the environmental movement began to grow following Carson's work, attention was drawn to the relationship between economic growth, development, and environmental degradation. In '68, ecologist Garrett Hardin popularized the phrase, "the tragedy of the commons," with his publication in the journal Science. This describes a situation where a shared resource is depleted or spoiled by individual users acting independently according to their own self-interest. Often called the most influential photograph ever taken, Earthrise is a photograph taken by astronaut Bill Anders on December 24, 1968, during the Apollo 8 mission. The snapshot gave us a new perspective on our home planet. This image inspired the first Earth Day on April 22, 1970. Earthrise also indirectly inspired the start of the Environmental Protection Agency in 1970 and the passage of other first-of-their-kind environmental laws, including the National Environmental Education Act, the Occupational Safety and Health Act, and the Clean Air Act. This photograph, known as the Blue Marble, was taken on December 7, 1972. It is one of the few to show an almost fully illuminated Earth, as the astronauts had the sun behind them. The Apollo 17 image was released during a surge in environmental activism during the 1970s, becoming a symbol of the environmental movement as a depiction of Earth's frailty, vulnerability, and isolation amid the vast expanse of space. In 1972, the Club of Rome commissioned a group of scientists led by Donella Meadows of MIT to create a system model for the Earth. Their system model looked at the variation over time of our resource extraction, food production and services delivered, industrial outputs, environmental pollution, and our global population. Their model suggested that sometime in the coming decades, food production, services, and industrial output will peak, which will cause the population to peak before it begins to decline. The modeled historical and current trends suggest an unsustainable future. The Brundtland Report was published in October 1987 by the UN at the Stockholm Conference. It placed environmental issues firmly on the political agenda. It aimed to discuss society, the environment, and economic development as one single issue, and defined sustainable development as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In 1994, John Elkington first coined the term the triple bottom line, or TBL, as the sustainable approach to development to counter the traditional single financial or economic bottom line approach of traditional economic development. TBL is the idea that society or people, environment or planet, and profit or economy should be equally balanced and prioritized to achieve sustainable futures. In 1997, Janine Benyus, author of Biomimicry, Innovation Inspired by Nature, defined her approach as a new discipline that studies nature's best ideas and then imitates these designs and processes to solve human problems. And finally, in 2010, Dame Ellen MacArthur coined the term the circular economy as one that aims to redefine growth in a restorative and regenerative way. Ellen MacArthur Foundation's 3 key principles for the circular economy are eliminating waste and pollution, circulating products and materials at their highest value, and regenerating nature. It is underpinned by a transition to renewable energy and materials. A circular economy decouples economic activity from the consumption of finite resources. It is a resilient system that is good for business, people, and the environment. So, perspective matters. Those incredible images of our planet and the work of our very driven people allow us to see our world in its broadest context. A planet on its own, one closed system we must interact with sustainably. The way we live and the systems we use are up to us. Our choices matter, and we are at a point in human history in which we can lead positively and responsibly. This was ASU. Thanks for watching.